Hey, today I'm going to show you 10 of my most carried pocket knives so far in this very last month of 2021. I know, man, I can't believe it's been a year. And I made sure to cover a variety of different price ranges, you know, as low as like $20 budget knives, all the way up to stuff costing over 200 bucks. Now, if this happens to be your first time here, thanks for stopping by. My name is Jay. Go ahead and consider clicking on that subscribe if you're looking for knife reviews. They get right to the point. As usual, links to buy, prices, and even like all the coupon codes, that stuff's all going to be down in the description for you. I want to go ahead and try something a little different. So after you watch this video, let me know down in the comments which knives you'd like to know more about. I'll go ahead and then create a full review video separately for each one. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the least expensive, then we'll work our way up to the most. Number 10, I got from FreeTiger. This is the FT2103. Now, this is going to be the newest knife on the list. In fact, it's so new that it's not even on Amazon yet. But you know what? I'm sure that's going to change. So what that means is the link that's included down in the description is going to be directly to FreeTiger's website, where you can go ahead and pick one of these up. Yes, as you can see, this knife was heavily influenced by the Benchmade bug out, but actually they do have quite a few differences between them. Now, you may not be able to tell from here, but it is actually a little bit, it's a little bit bigger than the bug out, because the D2 blade on the 2103, it's longer at about 3.35 inches, and it's also a little bit wider, which I really like. If something like the fidget factor, you know, is really important to you, you are going to absolutely love this, because the action is, man, it's friggin' great. I mean, look at this. Yeah, that blade, definitely riding on a ball bearing pivot. Now, don't get me wrong, because I absolutely love the bug out, and, you know, it has pretty good action too, especially considering that blade, you know, it's just riding on the bronze washers. But man, I really like FreeTiger's version of the axis lock, because it has like stiffer omega springs. I like that, because then, you know, that means you'll have a chance to kind of slowly break them in the more you use it. Coming in at number 9, it's going to be a Ganzo Firebird. This is the FH41S. I knew that Ganzo was going to do some mini versions of their existing designs, but this one actually flew under my radar, and I kind of found out about it by accident. I originally ordered the FH923, which actually kind of looks like, well, at least the blade does, like this steel wheel Sargus. All right, I'm going to try and hold this steady so you can actually see it, but there's even there's a sticker, which I actually was kind of odd, but we'll get to that in a second. But there's a sticker you can see on the box, which, you know, kind of reassures me that an FH923 should be inside this box. But now if we go ahead and look at the side of the box, you can see that it clearly says FH41S, which, well, now I know stands for small. So yeah, sure enough, the 41S was what was inside the box. Now, this is a mistake that actually worked out in my favor, because, well, you know, the FH41, the full size, is one of my all-time favorite Ganzo knives, and I honestly had no idea they made a mini version of it. Even though my measurement shows, you know, that it's a 3-inch blade, Ganzo has this one listed at 2.95 inches, which I think is probably the cutting edge. Now my favorite part, the action, because in both directions, it is absolutely incredible, because no matter how hard I try, I cannot fail this deployment. And I'm telling you, I'm really trying here. And then check out this closing action, because watch this. It barely takes a shake. It's like more like a half a nudge. Look at that. And then that blade just drops right shut. That's beautiful. Sitting at number 8 is going to be from Kubi. This is the KU901. Now, you're probably thinking, hey, wait a second, Jay. I've seen this one before. And yes, Yes, you probably have, because you can see that blade very similar to the one on the Sendcut Actium. And there is, in fact, another Kubi, with the same exact handle, but it has a different blade entirely. Yet, oddly enough, it's also called the KU901. I kind of wish that they would have went ahead and put the thumb studs on the harpoon blade, because I actually think I like it a little bit more. But I don't know. What do you think? I mean, which 901 do you like? The harpoon over here, or the drop point? Or is it neither of them, because you would rather have the Sendcut? How about number 7? I got a Sendcut here. That's the Acumen. Can I tell you, I'm a big fan of this knife. It just, I don't know, it has a blade shape that I immediately fell in love with. I mean, sure, I wish it was a little bit bigger overall, but, this design just has quite a few things that I look for when I'm shopping for a new knife. And specifically the wide blade profile, the multiple opening options, the action, which pretty friggin' great, and it has like a flat spine all the way from the pommel to the tip of the blade. But, as usual, it's also missing a few key features like, well, a non-coated blade option. I mean, this is the only finish that you can get on these knives. And more importantly, it's missing a full, forward finger choil. Because since the handle feels a lot shorter than it actually is, a finger choil would have just been such an easy fix. At number 6, I got a sheepdog. This is the Mini from Kizer. I'm not usually one to carry small knives like this, because, anything less than a 4-finger grip, it doesn't really interest me, unless, of course, it's like my secondary carry for the day. This mini thumbhole version, it kind of changes all that, since there's no flipper to get in the way. I can go ahead. Yeah, look at that. You can go ahead and choke up with a nice, full, confident grip. For me, this is one of the very few instances where, like a lanyard hole, that would be really nice to have, because I could just totally see, taking off this pocket clip and then kind of, just carrying it loose in pocket. This also makes a great fidget knife, because the action is just, it is so good. You can pretty much, just go ahead and open this however the heck you want. Number 5, it's going to be a button lock from Savey. Yeah, that's the Cogent. Technically, this is actually Savey's second button lock. Well, because of that, that giant Elementum, which, that might even be the reason why this one is so popular, because, comparing this to that button Elementum, man, it's like night and day. If you go ahead and take the Cogent and then compare it maybe, to some other button locks out there from different brands, this would honestly probably just be, average, maybe at the high end of average. And I'm not trying to say that I don't like it, because, well, I do very much. I mean, this thing, man, it's just a fidget machine. I really think that there's a lot of value here, because, at least I haven't seen too many affordable button locks out there, with decent blade steel like this Sandvik. Now, for number 4, we're going to stick with Savey. This is the Relic. And basically, it's got the same exact blade like we just saw on the Cogent, which, that's good, because I like that blade shape. Now, there's going to be 2 features that really do set these knives apart. Well, it's going to be, of course, the lock, and then those little stowaway tweezers there in the pommel. But let's go ahead and say that, you don't really have a need for little tweezers like this, and you're just all about, you're all about the fidget knives, then you would probably want to go with the Cogent, because, well, come on, button locks, man, they're just such a good time. And there actually is something else that the Relic has, which this Cogent does not. And that's going to be a usable forward finger choil. I mean, even though it is, it's kind of shallow, but you still can go ahead and use it to choke up without the risk of cutting yourself, like you would if you tried to do that with the Cogent. All right, in the 3 spot, it's going to be from Knife. This is the titanium version of the splint. I've noticed that the price on this has been kind of fluctuating on Amazon because, when I went ahead and picked this up, I think it was at like $170, which, I got to admit that I think it's a little bit high for this. And especially considering like the deployment issues that I'm having with this knife, because I'm a lefty. I mean, believe me, I love that it's a frame lock, but I can't put any pressure on this lock bar because as soon as I do, I'm not able to open the blade. And that's just because, well, it's a smaller knife and there's nowhere for me to go ahead and rest my thumb that isn't on that lock bar. I mean, yeah, I guess you could kind of do it on on that clip, but that feels sort of awkward. And it's kind of frustrating because I really like the idea of having this upgraded S35VN blade, and the titanium scales, and not to mention, man, the action. That action it's so good, but I think I'm just going to have to go ahead and stick with the liner lock version, which has that N690 blade. We're almost there. Number 2. This is a Blade HQ exclusive from Protec. That's the TR3. Now, please don't be mad at me because I think that this one might be, I think it might be sold out. But, I still wanted to go ahead and show it to you because, it's a very popular model for Protec, and I know you can still buy these. It just might have a different blade steel. Hey, I got to tell you though, this is absolutely like one of the hardest hitting autos that I currently own. I mean, come on, did you see that? I mean, my whole friggin' arm shakes when I do that. Watch. That's great. All right, you ready to see it? At number 1, I got this little tank from Benchmade. It's the Mini Adamas. Now that I'm thinking about it, it has been, it's been about a full year since I last bought a Benchmade. And I always like the Adamas. I mean, even back when it had that D2 blade, but I held off because of the size. I mean, there was just no way I would ever carry, I think it was like over 7 ounces. No way I'd carry it. Benchmade went all out on this new version. They went ahead and shrunk down the blade to about 3¼ inches, and they used CPM crew wear for the blade steel, and that's should hold an edge for a good long time. Even though this Mini Adamas is smaller, it's pretty much the same size as a bug out. It is still very much a hard use knife. I mean, check out that blade. That thickness, you're looking at 3.7 millimeters. So, I mean, of course the action's going to be great. That blade is nice and heavy. So, as soon as you pull back on this axis, it's going to drop shut. But really the only potential issue that I see is, well, it's probably going to be the amount of handle space because, it kind of has, you see like these sort of like bookends. So, if you have larger hands, you might be a little cramped in here. I wear a medium-sized glove. Hey, and don't forget, let me know down in the comments which knives you would like to see videos for. Up on the screen is going to be a video that I personally picked out for you to go ahead and watch next. And if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe. But I got to run. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll see you at the next video. Take care.